Today, we explore a story that starts globally but ends in mystery. A shocking discovery in a luxury hotel room flipped an investigation. This involves the sudden, controversial death of Inkosi Emmanuel Mthethwa, or Nathi Mthethwa, the South African politician whose final moments in Paris raise questions about what truly occurred. The title reveals it all: what police found in Nathi Mthethwa's room alters everything. The evidence from French authorities suggests a dark struggle and deep personal crisis linked to an inescapable political past, making this story vital to South Africa's larger political drama. Prior to serving as South African ambassador to France and headlining a gruesome death in a Paris hotel room, Nathi Mthethwa loomed large in South African politics as a powerful ANC figure and cabinet minister. His meteoric rise was accompanied by controversies of a public nature which dogged him relentlessly. To understand how significant his last days are, we must be acquainted with Mthethwa and the political tumult during which he existed. He also served significant cabinet ministries, including Minister of Police and Minister of Arts and Culture, for which his reckless spending, such as the notorious Monumental Flag program, caused uproar among members of the public. High-stakes politics, charges of corruption, and public indignation presaged a far-off tragedy. In Paris, Mthethwa served his last assignment as ambassador to France, seen as both a great honor and a way to retire controversy, as many political analysts opined. His new life across Europe did not feature quiet retirement as he had hoped for. His political corruption back home attracted consequences. Mthethwa, a former Minister of Police between 2009 and 2014, presided over some of South Africa's darkest days after apartheid, including the unfortunate Marikana massacre of August 2012, when police gunned down 34 striking miners during a bloody crackdown. He was embroiled in scandals of political interference regarding the Crime Intelligence Division, matters which resurfaced weeks before he passed away, bringing his history into sharp relief again and raising the stakes of both his private and political life. Events of the disaster unfold like a novel of drama. On a quiet Monday, Mthethwa, the ambassador, went missing. His South African wife told police of a disturbing message, and police opened a cross-border, high-level investigation. Attention shifted to the Hyatt Hotel at Port Maillot, one of Paris's elegant high-rises. This site, a symbol of global travel, would become the grim stage for Nathi Mthethwa's career's final act. The next morning, the search ended tragically. Mthethwa's body was found in a hotel courtyard, a long way down from his 22nd floor room. Suspicious conditions raised enough red flags to encourage it to be handled by French police as a potential crime scene, and so an investigation by Paris's first judicial police district got underway. Initial reports highlighted the severe fall as a tragedy. However, the crucial evidence came from the 22nd floor hotel room, revealing a shocking discovery that intrigued both diplomats and South African politics. French detectives noted that the window of the tightly sealed room, characteristic of upscale hotels, was pushed open. That represented a major red flag, changing the investigation of an accidental death to a sign of a violent death. What they found next was the crucial evidence that complicated the narrative and confirmed the worst-case scenario. In Nathi Mthethwa's room, the key finding was not a smoking gun or political dossier, but rather a simple, revealing pair of scissors. A pair of scissors was found by the forced open window, believed to be the tool Mthethwa used to bypass the glass panel safety mechanism. This small object on the carpet shifted the inquiry's focus. The forced open window and the tool indicated a desperate, premeditated act. It supported the theory that Mthethwa deliberately took his own life, a narrative the French authorities cautiously considered, noting no signs of struggle, drugs, or foul play. In high politics scandals, at least in South Africa, a convenient storyline of suicide is rarely accepted at face value. The drama intensifies with political subplots and trial theatrics. The official line, the threatening message, the broken window, the scissors, seemed too neat, too manufactured for Mthethwa's doubters and a South African people suspicious of the government's integrity. The question was why? Why a veteran politician and ambassador of a romantic city should meet a violent end. Many think it's all about the political corruption scandal in their own backyard, something Mthethwa couldn't handle. Days before Paris massacre, Nathi Mthethwa figured prominently in explosive testimonies before a judicial commission. This was neither breaking news nor déjà vu but a follow-up of an investigation of state capture and political interference into South African police service. Main witnesses, including police commanders, testified of political interference by ministers undermining justice. General Nathi Mthethwa publicly implicated Mthethwa in a startling act of interference. Mthethwa is accused of having interfered once in a case against a former head of crime intelligence during his tenure of office as Minister of Police, to prevent charges being brought. It was called by Mthethwa the worst political interference he encountered. The date of this testimony reopened a dark page of Mthethwa's police ministry, putting him back before the public eye for accountability, casting a shadow on the events of Paris. The narrative splits into two paths, generating the drama this channel thrives on: the personal tragedy of the scissors and forced entry versus the whispered political assassination. The police discovery of scissors and absence of struggle suggests a tragic end. However, the judicial inquiry's context, strong testimony, and Mthethwa's immense pressure support the theory he was silenced or driven by fear of legal and political ruin. The ominous message to his wife provides depth, supporting the portrait of a troubled man amidst both private and work-life upheavals. The protected text, correlating to an apology and wishes to commit suicide, amplifies the theory of suicide. It's intriguing for the public to see how it went down, so to speak, around this highly publicized true crime case, for there's some ambiguity here about how it unfolded, and it's intriguing for a lot of reasons. It's intriguing, for instance, whether it was a case of political oppression, whether it was a case of. These unanswered questions continue to keep alive both the investigation and public speculation. South Africa's government's response, or rather its inability to respond, fueled suspicion, interpreted by many as a trademark ANC reflex, denial and evasiveness. President Ramaphosa offered his condolences, but Pretoria seemed hesitant to investigate the motives of the French authorities for their rapid probe. The SAP's delegation sending to Paris seemed by some to be an attempt to spin the narrative and keep abreast of the results of the independent investigation. The SAP's French police rivalry, or tension, is a chief subplot herein. Let's revisit the key evidence, the scissors. In a death investigation, scissors used to open a 22nd floor window suggest intent, a desperate act to overcome a barrier. In a political thriller, however, the object gains symbolic significance. Was a former leader of a country's police force, accustomed to stringent security, compelled to employ universal scissors at a foreign hotel for his last departure? This option is indicative of abject desperation, implying loneliness and absence of reliable confidants during his last hours. This detail changes everything, transforming the story from a quiet tragedy into a raw act of breaking free. South African and international media reports went viral. Nathi Mthethwa death controversy, Paris hotel fall, and political corruption links trended on a planetary scale. The focus shifted away from the deceased diplomat to analyzing his troubled career. Journalists and analysts counted his record, charges of political interference, Marikana massacre, and massive arts expenditure by the ministry. Mthethwa's life was judged after his death, closely tied to how he died. The numerous scandals surrounding him made the audience ready to believe any dramatic turn in the story. Protests by the public exposed a deeper concern, a suspicion of acting with impunity by South Africa's political elite. If a high-profile figure like Mthethwa, under investigation for a past offense, suddenly dies offshore, it causes suspicion. They question the speed of the suicide theory and the police report's accuracy. The lack of a struggle, the tidy room, except for the forced window, and the timing related to the judicial inquiry contribute to the dramatic undertones of the event. The forced window, scissors, and 22nd Floor storyline is chillingly compelling due to its display of a man breaking a metaphorical threshold. The long-term effect of the case runs deep, regardless of what becomes of the French police investigation. The death of Nathi Mthethwa represents the failing political regime he served. It brought renewed focus to state capture, accountability, and the price of South African political corruption. The debate is not merely how he perished, but what brought it about. A frantic attempt to evade humiliation and legal ruin. Or did it occur to him, brutally, that his authority had disappeared, and he was now a lonely man? French officials processed the evidence and unpacked the grotesque message, verifying specifics regarding the forced window and scissors, yet reality is concealed by political theatrics and diplomacy. The end report is crucial, yet it cannot tell everything. Mthethwa's history, which is punctuated by Marikana victims, political intervention, and ANC scandals, defines the background that creates the transformative Paris hotel room find. It turns a personal tragedy into a lasting footnote in a high-stakes political thriller unfolding globally. We follow closely a French probe as the South African government faces backlash and speculation of political impropriety. This case reminds us that powerful figures are human, and their secrets can be burdensome. The mystery of the 22nd floor, the broken window, and the scissors will fuel speculation for years. What do you guys think went down in that Paris hotel room? Let's know your thoughts by commenting below. And, if you liked this video, subscribe, and give a hit to that notification bell for our next exploration of jaw-dropping celebrity and political scandals. Until next time. Remain curious, and keep in mind, power is never quite so simple as it seems.